Everybody, and welcome to OEH Seminar for this week. I am happy to present Ahmed Summan, who is a PhD candidate here in the School of Population and Public Health and studying acoustics in Murray's group. He's a member of the Acoustics and Noise Research Group at UBC, and he has a number of conference papers in acoustics and related indoor air quality, such as evaluating a noise masking system in a healthcare facility in North Van. So I feel like we have a real expert in acoustics here with us today, and we're looking forward to learning from him.
Okay. So hello everyone. How was it this morning? It was a lot of foggy rain, right? Yeah, a little chill, but now it's gonna be good. Okay. It's working. Okay, so today's story is about technology educational shops. But first, let me ask you a question. How many of you have been in technology educational shops yet? Okay, that's really few number of people. Okay, no problem. For those of you who have not been in technology educational shops, I'm going to take you there in a second. So as you see, right now we are in one of the technology educational shops in high school. It's a wood workshop, and this wood workshop is like small industrial workshop that built in high school, where teachers can work and teach high school students how to make things. Actually, they learn how to make things starting from making wooden toys and ending up with like large pieces of furniture, all that made of wood. And this kind of teaching and learning in this kind of environment supposed to be without any kind of detrimental health effects. Let's go a little bit deeper in this technology educational shops. What the aims of technology educational shops? Why they are there? Actually, they are there to develop high school students' ability to understand the technology concepts and apply them practically in real world. And also to encourage them to seek the means of creativity to solve any technical problems that they may face in this challenging society of technology. And also, it's a way to build their technical career and to be creative workers. But as people in environmental health and occupational health and this kind of stuff and our environmental quality, let's think again about all those objectives of having technology education shops. They look and sound very interesting, right? But let's think again about this type of indoor environment. The important thing that we have all to think about first, in order to achieve this kind of objectives, is the quality of this indoor environment. And as you know, there are many kind of factors that can play a role to affect this quality of environment and the level of comfort in this indoor environment. And one of these factors is acoustics. So that's why there are special design requirements and regulations made especially for each factor, for each type of use, for each kind of an indoor environment. And that's what we are thinking about, and that's what we are looking to investigate. Now, what's happening inside technology educational shops? Now, technology educational shops are being used for two different purposes. They are being used as classrooms for teaching and learning, and they are being used as workshop with machines. And as you know, might know that each use of this has its own acoustical criteria to be followed and to be met. So as you may know that classrooms are supposed to be quiet, with low reverberation time, but with high speech intelligibility index to allow a student to understand what the teacher is talking about. While, as you know, workshop has its own acoustical criteria, and we know that most of the industrial workshop have noisy machines and maybe reverberant rooms. So we assume that having these two different activities running in the same environment at the same time may result in a major acoustical conflict. And that major acoustical conflict will negatively affect the level of comfort in this classroom or this technology educational shop. It will reduce the, the level of concentration, the level of productivity, and creativity. So it's somehow actually not meeting the objectives that the people who have made this technology shop wants. And actually, this is what we investigated. We investigated this major acoustical conflict with respect to the two different acoustical criteria for each type of use. For example, as you can see here, for the unoccupied classroom or core learning spaces, we take into account the criteria made for that. And as you see, as it said in ANSI S12 2002, that there is special criteria for the background noise level and for the reverberation times in these classrooms. So let me just clear some terms here. As you know, background noise is the noise that consists of noise from ventilation system, sound transmission from other next door rooms, something like that. Reverberation time. Reverberation is the continuation of that sound reflection of hard walls, like hard surfaces, like hard walls, hard ceiling, high ceiling, hard floor, something like that. And so then the reverberation time is the time required for that reverberation or that sound to decay about 60 dB once the sound source stopped. This is just basically, I hope you got it from me, right? Correct? So for example, what the standard said, the standard said that if we have a room with less than 283 cubic meter in volume, then background noise level supposed not to exceed 35 decibel or dBA, and reverberation time should not exceed 0.6 seconds. Now coming to the most sensitive indicator about acoustics in classrooms, which is speech intelligibility index. A speech intelligibility index actually is a calculated value that indicates to what extent the listener can understand what the talker is talking about. That's basically in different distance. And that calculated value is ranged in a special scale. So for example, if we have value of SII equal 0, then the speech intelligibility quality gonna be bad, or it will be excellent if the speech intelligibility index equal 1. The second acceptability criteria related to industrial workrooms, and here actually it's focusing on the daily noise exposure as adopted by WorkSafe BC, and it said that the noise exposure level is supposed to not exceed 85 dBA for 8 hours shift. The other thing is the reverberation time that's required in industrial rooms. It's supposed to not exceed the 1 second. And the other important factor here is the reduction in sound levels due to double distance from source. How we get this indicator here? Actually, if we have like a sound source in this position right here, then we measured the sound pressure level that radiated from that sound source in different double distance from that sound source, then we're gonna get by special calculations, we're gonna get the special value, okay, indicating how good that industrial workroom. So, for example, and this is actually based on the room floor area. So, for example, if we have a room less than 210 square meter, then the DL2 or D is supposed to be equals or higher than 3. In order to consider that room is treated acoustically. Otherwise, if the D is lower than 3, then the room gonna be considered reverberant room. So let's talk again about our objective. What is our objective? Is to investigate the acoustical conflict between these two uses of technology educational shops as an industrial workshop and a classroom by evaluating the acoustical characteristics of 20 different technology educational shops in the lower mainland of British Columbia, in Surrey, Richmond, and Burnaby. All of our study sites include wood workshops and metal workshops and automotive workshop. And this floor plan here can show you like a typical kind of technology educational shop, like a woodwork. As you see, it's like a big open place inside the high school, big open room, and it has the side of all machines in one side of the room, and then they have the side of the teaching and learning, like desk and blackboard, and they have also the teacher office inside the room as well. They have all the storage areas also. So this is just to give you an idea how it looks from inside. So what we did, we measured all the relative acoustical characteristics, including the background noise levels, reverberation time, speech intelligibility index, and DL2. And also we measured and evaluated the teacher noise exposures in 9 occupied ticket shops. While the other acoustical characteristics, we did it in 20 unoccupied ticket shops. So let's take it one by one now. So regarding the measurement of background noise level, what we did, we had a calibrated sound level meter, and we measured the background noise level at about 5 to 6 different spots in each ticket shops for 10 seconds at each spot. And then we calculated the average of background noise level for each ticket shop. And we did this measurement under 3 different conditions. We did it under when the ticket shops are unoccupied and only ventilation system on, when it's unoccupied with dust collectors on and off, and then when it's occupied, where student and teacher in the shop and all machines on operation. Sorry. The second characteristics is the reverberation time. So in order to measure reverberation time, the room or that ticket shop supposed to be actually very quiet, no ventilation system or any building system turned on. Everything has to be turned off. So what we had actually like a loudspeaker. It was omnidirectional speaker, and we placed that omnidirectional speaker in random places in the ticket shops, in the centers and near the corner of the ticket shops, and that was actually connected to a laptop with special software called WinMLS that's supposed to actually to measure and calculate the reverberation time, and for sure to generate the sound coming out from these loudspeakers. Then we had our sound level meter used as microphone in order to receive all that reflected sound and download it into the laptop, the software, in order to calculate the reverberation time. It's something like that. Then we had calculated the average reverberation time for each ticket shop. Speech level measurement. Can you remember why we did speech level measurement? Which acoustical characteristic? Okay, it's for speech intelligibility index. So speech intelligibility index, the calculation of speech intelligibility index actually depends on the measurement of background noise level, reverberation time, and for sure the speech level. So what we had sound source. It's Manican loudspeaker, which simulating normal talker, okay, like a teacher, and we placed it where the teacher supposed to be sitting in the ticket shop, and that sound source generating that simulating speech level, and we had our sound level meter placed in 3 different places close to the speaker and far away from the speaker in different spaces like 1 meter, 3 meter, and 5 meters. And then we get that speech level and we add it into special calculation to find the speech intelligibility index. And here we are. This is a picture of actual measuring for the speech level. Here she is. This is Sarah, our Manican loudspeaker. And that's me having the sound level meter away from me like about 4 or 5 meters and measuring the sound coming from directly from her mouth. This is basic. The last measurement, physical measurement we did is the DL2 that I told you about, the reduction in sound energy per doubling distance. As I told you before, we had our loudspeaker or sound source placed at one side of the ticket shops, and then we draw a straight line from that sound source to the opposite end of the ticket shops, and we placed our sound level meter at each double distance from that sound source, and we got all that sound pressure level from that at each location, and then we plotted that into special decay curve in order to calculate DL2, as I'm going to show you later, inshallah. Last one is the teacher noise exposure. We basically had calibrated noise dosimeter, which was attached to each teacher's shoulder, and we measured the noise exposure during the full shift of the day. Okay, now we are talking the results. Okay, so for background noise level, when the ticket shop were unoccupied and only ventilation system was on, we got these values. As you can see, in all the ticket shops, background noise level were higher than the standard for the different size of classrooms, and it ranged from 45 dBA to 65 dBA. I just want you to imagine 65 dBA, that's only the background noise level coming from the ventilation system. That's the only source we identified. Actually, that's crazy. That's loud, actually. The second part of background noise level measurement, when it's unoccupied with dust collectors on and off. As you can see, they're still for sure higher than when it's unoccupied with ventilation system only. And I want you to take these 2 examples here, worst case scenario. Take this one here, WB2. It's a wood workshop in Burnaby, and 81 dBA. That's the noise coming from the dust collector. that's supposed to be running all the time of the ticket shop. That's really loud. This room in particular is very reverberant room. They don't have any kind, it actually was brand new ticket shop, and at that time they didn't install any kind of absorption materials or did any kind of sound control in that room. And the teacher of that ticket shop, particularly, they were complaining about this situation. The last thing about background noise level, when it's unoccupied ventilation and occupied. Now, the difference between occupied and unoccupied. And actually, we could successfully do that in about 8 ticket shops, occupied ticket shops only, due to some problems of participations. So as you see, when the ticket shops are occupied, background noise level are higher than when it's unoccupied, and that's supposed to be normal situation. But still, we have problem with the ticket shops with their background noise level when they are unoccupied. The second factor, the second characteristic, is the teacher's daily noise exposure. From this graph, we did the measurement in 9 ticket shops. So for 9 teachers. So this red line here is the standard, supposed to not be exceeded. So we can say that about 4 of the teachers were exposed to higher level of noise dose than the standard. Now, reverberation time. Here we have the averages for each ticket shop. So the standard lines here, the red ones, are for the classrooms and for the industrial rooms. So the upper one here is for industrial rooms, which is 1 second, and the lower one is for classrooms, the big classroom. So as you can see here, most of the ticket shops actually exceeded that standard for classrooms and for industrial rooms. Few number of them might actually meet the standard as industrial rooms. Some of them, like this one here in particular, WS4, meet the standard for classroom and industrial room. And this ticket shop in particular, the wood shop, it's an old wood workshop, and it has short ceiling. The walls and the ceiling all covered with good absorption materials, and that which makes this ticket shop good in acoustical perspective. Okay. What we have else? We have the speech intelligibility index. As I told you, to calculate that, we use special calculation method. We use the measured background noise level when ticket shops were unoccupied, and also the reverberation times measurement. We did the calculation for assumed teacher voice at 4 different vocal outputs: normal, raised, loud, and shout voice level. Then our result compared with the scale right here. So if we have speech intelligibility index lower than 0.3, then our speech quality is bad. But if it's between 0.5 and 0.6, it's going to be considered good speech quality. And if it's higher than 0.8, then it's going to be excellent speech quality in that particular room. And here the result for speech intelligibility index in 20 unoccupied ticket shops. I know the table is a little bit like traffic jam, something like that. But so to summarize it for you, we can say here that 7 ticket shops have bad to poor speech intelligibility quality at all voice levels. That's not good. 10 of these 20 ticket shops have good to very good speech quality at shout voice level. Do you know what shout means? Can you imagine that? Do you think teachers supposed to shout in his class? I'll tell you one of the things that I saw myself in one of these bad ticket shops, bad in acoustical characteristics. I mean, uh, I went there in the morning and sit the teacher with all the sampling devices and everything. Then he had to start his class by introduction to the student, and he told me, you can now stay in my office. After 10 minutes, you can come out to do your observation and everything. I said, yeah, okay, sure. Then he had his student came in, sit like this on their desk, and he started to talk. I was in his office. It's away like at 8 meters from the place he's sitting, and the door was closed. And he was talking, he was shouting. They didn't start work doing anything yet. When I came out after the 10 minutes, I told him that I felt myself like someone in American football field. So, and he knows that kind of problem that he is facing. Now, the problem with shouting is causing something called the vocal stress, especially with teacher. And in US, they did many studies for teacher who in bad acoustically classrooms, and they did like surveys and measurement, and they found that the majority of the teachers have problem with their voices. And it's not only about the vocal stress or vocal strain. It's going to actually lead to headache, hypertension. Sometimes and mostly happen that a teacher asks to not come to the school, like absence, sick absence. And this is not what we are looking for our teachers and our school. That's what's in my mind I wanted to tell you. Only of this, now, only 3 of these 20 unoccupied ticket shops have good to very good speech quality at all voice levels. And one of them, as I mentioned before, an example, WS4, as I told you before, it has the lowest reverberation time, lowest background noise level, and that because they have the sufficient kind of absorption materials, and that's why they have good speech quality. For people who like to see in percentages, so the same things that I have said before. As you see, the red color, the red part is the worst case scenario. The light beige color is the best scenario. So only 15% of the 20 ticket shops that we measured speech intelligibility index had good speech intelligibility quality. 50% of them have good speech quality at shout voice level. We also calculated speech intelligibility index when the ticket shops occupied. And we had that done for only 9 ticket shops. And in general, the results said that speech intelligibility quality is bad in most of ticket shops at normal, raised, and loud voice level. Okay, the last acoustic characteristics we have here, the reduction in sound energy per doubling distance, which is DL2. This is the spatial decay curve that I told you about. So we had our measured sound bridle level at each different double distance plotted in this curve here, and then we modeled a best fit straight line in order to get the, as a function of logarithmic distance, to get the slope, and from that we calculated the DL2. This is an example of one of the ticket shops. And here are the results of DL2 for the 20 ticket shops. So what we can learn from this table, that only 3 technology educational shops from our symbol are considered acoustically treated, while the rest 17 ticket shops are considered reverberant rooms, and that bad from the perspective of industrial workrooms. So to summarize all what I have said today, first of all, background noise level and reverberation times are not acceptable for core learning spaces. Verbal communication quality is unacceptable, as you have just seen. DL2 indicates that most of the ticket shops are not acceptable as industrial workshops. They are reverberant rooms. And finally, about 50% of the 9 ticket shops that we measured the noise exposure level, they exceeded the standard. So what that means? It means that ticket shops provide poor acoustical quality as classrooms and as industrial rooms, which could result in reduction of level of comfort. Teacher have to shout. It's not comfort, it's discomfort. Learning, reduction of the level of learning. Teaching, for sure, creativity and productivity among the teacher and the student. So yes, in conclusion, yes, there is a major acoustical conflict in technology educational shops, and there is a great need for effective sound control measures. Thank you all.
Anybody have any questions?
Thanks very much. Very educational and entertaining. I have always struggled with this concept of noise measurements in unoccupied rooms. Can you help me understand why that matters? It's kind of like, for me, the metaphor: if a tree falls in the forest, does anybody hear it? So if the room is unoccupied, why are we worried about the noise levels in unoccupied spaces?
Okay, it's a good question. Now, for example, if we look at this classroom here, okay, and we measure the background noise level and reverberation time when it's unoccupied. Why we did that? We do that in order to know the type and the quality, okay, of the acoustical design of this ticket shop without having anybody in here, okay, and then assuming if we have people in here, how the acoustical quality gonna be, right? Because actually some of the acoustical characteristics measurement supposed also to be done when the room is very quiet and nobody is there. One of them is the reverberation time. And these two things, the background noise level and reverberation times, tell us how much sound could be absorbed in this particular room, or could be reverberant. So it's a part of knowing what is the situation without having people inside it. I hope I answered that.
Hi, it was a good presentation, actually, quite interesting. I was wondering, with the results that you got, what kind of recommendations would you have for future tech educational shops? How do we build and design?
Okay, that's a good question. Yeah, I think first of all, we have to take into account the main purpose of having this technology educational shop. It's for learning and at the same time for making things. So there are two different things. The second point is that we might look for having new special standards for this particular type of environment. As you see, they are used for as classroom and industrial room. So this environment is very different from the other kind of environment. Not just like classroom like this one, or not just like industrial room by itself. So this one of the things. Yeah, and they have actually to take into account how to build the sufficient kind of sound control for this type of environment. These are the things that I can think about right now.
Line question here that says, this has implications from an emergency protocol point of view. Can the occupants hear the fire alarm? Can they hear if another occupant is yelling or warning for help?
Yeah, the thing could be related to the part of speech intelligibility quality, and as Mori and I heard from some teacher that some of the accidents happen inside the technical in this ticket shop. Some of the students using like I forgot his name, like arm saw or something, and then cut his finger, and no one heard him yelling or someone screaming because of the poor of the speech quality in that room. So it's important to have the sufficient and efficient quality of speech intelligibility in this room, that which actually recommend us to have the sufficient background noise reverberation time for each one in particular. So
For these pre-existing facilities, I know nothing about acoustics. What are the options for improved acoustical management?
yeah, I mentioned maybe it's one of the things that we may think about having new standard, special standard, acoustical standard for this type of ticket shops, because as you see, we have now major acoustical conflict. They cannot meet the exist criteria for classrooms, and even they couldn't meet the exist criteria for industrial rooms. So we have to figure out to find something coming in between for this special kind of environment. And I think the who has to be also involved in this part is the departments who build this kind of technology education, including WorkSafe BC and BCIT maybe, to think again about what kind of sound control system they supposed to have for each use in this technology educational source. I think
I'm asking is it possible to fix those shops that you were in? And if so, how do you do that?
I can't get it. Could you repeat it again?
Is it possible to fix the shops that you were
To fix
in?
it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, one of the things that because we are recommending sound control system, one of the things that we can do right now, maybe think about it, we can maybe take one or two of the good scenarios we have, like that WS4 ticket shop, for example. But we cannot apply exactly everything from the point of view from the part of acoustic, because it has different room size, it has different construction materials. So what we can do actually, we can estimate, okay, what type of absorption material that we could have right now for those acoustical, for those technical ticket shops with poor acoustical quality. And we can get that from the measurement we have done. Like, for example, one of the things that we can estimate the required absorption coefficient is the measured reverberation time for each of these ticket shops, taking into account the size of that ticket shop. And we can then look for the suitable kind of absorption materials to fit in that special ticket shop. one by one. Something like that. Yeah.
No, well, thank you very much, Ahmed. It's not a topic we hear a lot about in seminar. It was really nice to have your introduction.
Thank you very much.